Boricua.
Welcome to another episode of Cathy Fernandez Spiritual Health. The power to change your life is within you. You just have to believe it. Join me. Our journey begins now.
Can you imagine to be able to have the answer of everything? To make sure you're taking the right decision, or just to clear any doubts on your mind? Sounds crazy, right? Nowadays, there's many tools that can help you find answers in the spiritual world, like astrology or tarot cards. But one of my favorites is the work with the pendulum, meaning dowsing. Hi, I'm Cathy, and welcome to this episode of Spiritual Health. Dowsing is the art of receiving answers through a pendulum. A pendulum is it can be anything. It could be just a string with something that is heavy at the bottom, and it's going to create a movement in order to give you the yes or no answers. There's many types of pendulum. There's wooden and crystal pendulums. And with these two, you have to program them in order to work. Or cleansing like a regular crystal. There's metal pendulums, and there's also specialized pendulums like the universal pendulum. This type of pendulums they use in therapy to clear the energy in the person or in the environment. When I first heard of the pendulum, I was little. I was like a little girl. I was about, I would say 7 years old. And I knew about the pendulum because my mom has like a reunion of friends in the house, and they wanted to find out the sex of her cousin who was pregnant, the sex of the baby. And so one of the friends took out this chain with something in the bottom, like the suspended stone. And she said, "Oh, we're going to find out what is the sex of the baby." So I was really intrigued with this process. I was like, wow, what is that? How can they know about the sex of a baby using this chain? So the lady, she started moving the pendulum. The pregnant lady sat down, and she went in front of her belly, and start moving this chain. Well, it started moving like clockwise, making circles. So everybody was yelling, "Oh my God, it's a girl, it's a girl." And I was like, wow. So I was like, and how that works? And they explained that if the chain would move like from side to side, on front and back, it was going to be a boy. But if it makes circles, it was going to be a girl. So to me, it was like incredible. Well, it happens that when my mom's cousin had the baby, it was a girl. So that was like mind-blowing for me. Years later, I took a class of radionics, and this is to study more in depth the pendulum and how work with this type of energy. And the pendulum can be used, like I say, for therapy. And that's what I was doing. But another surprise point to me was to receive the answer of the body of somebody. When the teacher was explaining the energy, she put a girl, a lady, on the table, on a massage table. And she was talking and moving the pendulum, from the feet to the head of the person to receive answers within the body of this person. Immediately, I start seeing and feeling the feelings of the girl. So it was like, whoa, what is this energy that is going on? So I saw what was going on with her. I saw and I felt her sadness and pain of something that she was going through in her life at that point. And the answers were like right on point. I was like really, really amazed with this work using the pendulum, because not only I could receive different answers for different things, like having the sex of a baby, knowing the sex of a baby, but also knowing what's going on within the body. And let me tell you, this is one of my favorites nowadays of tools to work energetically. I use it for therapy, but I also use it for asking any kind of questions in my life. And let me tell you, it does work. And as you can imagine, to me, the pendulum it became so part of my life that I became a teacher of showing how to use the pendulum. And one time, a student of mine came to see me to tell me her story. She was also intrigued with it, and she trusted it. She worked so hard, practicing and practicing every single day, and until she was a master of receiving her answers for everything she wanted. Every time she answers, every time she asked a question, her answers were very certain. So one time she told me this story that they were purchasing a house. And obviously her husband and her, they did not agree. It was like they had two houses, that the one they have to choose from. But the house that the husband liked, the pendulum says that was not the one. It says no. So she was kind of confused, because she likes both houses. Like she didn't have a preference on the houses. But the pendulum keeps saying every time she asks, and she asks multiple times, that was not the house. But the husband was so insisted. He insisted that that's the one, because so he gave 1,000 excuses why they should purchase the house. Anyway, she went for it, and she said, okay, let's do the offer. So when the inspection came, after they put in the offer and everything was moving forward, there was a lot of things bad with the foundation of the house. And when he saw that it was really bad, he was like, he looked at her and she, like, oh, you told me so. But, he's like, we cannot purchase this house. And she looked at him and she said, well, my pendulum is never wrong. And obviously, they ended up purchasing the other house. But she has so much confidence in her pendulum because she uses the pendulum over and over. She mastered the weight of receiving answers. She trusted her intuition. And she knew there was something wrong. She didn't know what it was, but she knew there was something wrong in that house. And when you are attuned with your intuition, it doesn't matter if you use a pendulum or whatever you use. When you are attuned with it, the answers always are certain. When you trust. And the pendulum is a great tool that acts as a receptor and transmitter of energy, which gives you answers straight from the spirit guides or our higher self. So why using the pendulum? Why the pendulum is good for us? To me, it better off your intuition. When you receive the answers, they don't come from your mind, they come from your higher self. When you're really connected to it, it helps you connect to the spirit world. It helps clear your doubts. And the answer from your questions, like I say, they are clear. Clear enough. And also help you balance your own energy. And how to use it? Well, you can use it in daily questions. You can use it for food, for even when you're going to buy a supplement for you. Is it good for you? This supplement? Do I really need this supplement? Because you start also reading your own body with the pendulum and receiving the answers of your body. Do I need this food or I need this one? I know a doctor, a very good doctor. He uses his pendulum to read the energy of his patients in order to let them know what they need. So you can use it for decisions of anything that is yes or no. Remember, the pendulum is the extension of your higher self. It becomes the extension of your higher self. So the answers are going to be from there. And obviously, the yes and the no you have to practice. Because for some people, the yes could be from to right, from forward and back. But also the yes could be a circle in a clockwise way. And could be, from side to side, like you're moving your head, no. And it could also be counterclockwise. So, but the movement of the pendulum is going to depend on how you program your pendulum. Okay? You can also use a graph with different answers and then ask the questions and see where do the pendulum goes. It's another way to connect and receive the answer. That if you don't want just the answers to be yes and no, you can create different possible answers and then see where the pendulum would stop in order to receive the answer. Okay, so but remember, all the answers are within you. Trust your inner power and intuition. The pendulum is just a tool. The connecting vehicle, it's you. Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. And until next time, and don't forget, awaken your magic.
Agua.